In a quiet corner of an old bar, dim lights flickered over scratched tables and the faint sound of a jukebox played a forgotten country song. Laughter filled the room, soldiers and locals mixing together, stories of the past floating through the air like smoke. But one man sat apart, silent, his presence strong yet distant. His jacket was old, his hat low over his eyes, and his hands were rough, the hands of someone who had carried both weapons and burdens heavier than most could imagine. His name was unknown to most in the bar, but those who had been in the military could sense what he was. A man forged in the fire of combat, one who had seen death close enough to give it a name. Then the door opened and a group of young Marines walked in, loud, confident, and laughing. They ordered their drinks and took over the room with their energy. One of them, muscular and proud, noticed the quiet man sitting alone and couldn't resist. He leaned toward his buddies and said, "That guy looks like he's straight out of a war movie." They laughed, but he decided to go over anyway. Walking up to the older man, he smirked. "Hey, old-timer," he said, "you look like you've seen a battlefield or two." The man looked up slowly, his eyes calm, steady, eyes that could read a man's soul. "Something like that," he said in a low voice. The Marine grinned. "Come on, don't be shy." "You serve?" The man nodded once. "Long time ago." The young Marine tilted his head, curious. "What was your call sign?" For a moment, the bar seemed to fall silent. The man stared at the glass in his hand, tracing the rim with his finger before answering. His voice was quiet but carried like a whisper from another world. "Reaper 1. The Marine laughed, thinking it was a joke. "Reaper 1? That's dramatic. What were you, some kind of ghost?" His friends laughed behind him. The older man didn't move, didn't smile. He just looked at him, that look of a man who had lived through things no one could laugh about. The air in the bar grew heavy. A man at the next table, older, maybe in his 60s, leaned over. "Son," he said, "you don't know who you're talking to." The Marine frowned. "And who is he?" The old man shook his head slowly. "They called him Reaper 1 for a reason." The laughter faded. The Marine looked back at the veteran, now realizing this wasn't a joke. He swallowed hard, sensing something in that silence, something powerful, dangerous, and sad. The veteran finally spoke again, still staring at his drink. "I led men into places no one should ever go. Saw good soldiers fall before they even hit the ground. You get used to the noise, the fire, the chaos. But you never get used to the silence that follows." His voice was steady, yet it carried grief buried deep under years of quiet endurance. "They gave me the name Reaper because I was the last voice on the radio when things went bad. I was the one who called the shots that decided who lived and who didn't. You don't forget that. Though yo.